This is just an incredible story the day before the 9/11 anniversary. For 15 years, Colonel Rob Maness wondered about the badly burned man that he tried to keep conscious after terrorists flew American Airlines Flight 77 into the Pentagon on 9/11. Did he make it? Did he survive? What on earth happened to him? Well, it all remained a mystery for years until a chance meeting at this year's RNC that brought the two veterans back together. It is an incredible story. Here to share that amazing survival story, 9/11 survivor Lieutenant Colonel Brian Birdwell, also a state senator in Texas, and the man who helped save his life, Colonel Rob Maness. Gentlemen, thank you so much. You are two, first let me say, such incredible heroes. We're grateful to have you here today and have served in our military. So Colonel Birdwell, Senator Birdwell as well, let me start with you. Tell me what happened to you at the Pentagon on 9/11.
I was about 15 to 20 yards from the nose of the aircraft, making penetration with my E-ring office. By the Lord's grace, I sit before you as the only survivor in the E-ring at the crash site. I was badly burned, 60% total body surface burn, 40% of my body was third-degree burn. I would spend months in the hospital, and by the Lord's grace, I survived what I should not have survived, and Rob was part of that, part of the Lord's, putting people in my life to help me live that day,
well,
and we're extremely grateful.
With burns over 60% of your body, it is a miracle that you're alive, and we are grateful for that. Colonel Maness, you were serving in the U.S. Air Force that day. You arrived at the Pentagon, as I understand it. Tell me what you saw.
Well, it was a beautiful day. The skies were blue. It was cool. Everybody was wearing jackets. Just a normal day, other than it was cool. Usually in Washington, it's very hot and muggy at that time of year.
Well, how did you come across Lieutenant Colonel Birdwell?
Well, after the World Trade Centers were attacked and the Pentagon got hit, I continued working in the National Military Command Center in the C Ring on the 3rd floor on the northeast side of the building until I was evacuated. And as I was evacuated from the building, I left through the 8th corridor and just about intersected with two gentlemen that were bringing Brian out on a, I think it was an extra long golf cart is what Brian's called it. And I just linked up with them, and one of them asked me to hold his IV line because it was broken, and we got him down to the bottom of the hill where the emergency medics had set up a triage system, and I continued to hold his IV line, and he was able to talk at that time, but I could tell he was very, very badly injured and burned and looked like his legs were broken, and we talked about family, we prayed, and eventually I got somebody over to get the IV line fixed, and we arranged transportation for him and got him to the hospital. So then I went back in the building with a group of folks to help fight the fire the rest of the day.
Oh, goodness gracious. Colonel Birdwell, then you were still conscious at the time and having a conversation with them.
Yes, ma'am. It was a pretty rough conversation, but from the time of the attack, I was conscious, remember the events of the day. I did not know Rob's name or personally at that point, but I was conscious all the way till we got through, till I was anesthetized at Georgetown's emergency room.
So you made it to the hospital. You were 26 days in the ICU. Gentlemen, you didn't know what happened to one another for all of these years.
No. What was really interesting, Heather, is at the RNC convention, I'm sitting in my hotel room getting a little work done, and I get a text from Governor Perry that says, "Hey, come down. I've got a guy you need to meet." Was at the Pentagon that day, and I expected it to be, the usual. You got 30,000 people working that building, and I've never run into anybody that I knew or somebody that they knew that I knew, because it's just too many people. Got down there, and within about 2 minutes of my conversation with Rob, with exactly where he was, the 8th quarter, the De Lorenzo Clinic, it was immediately clear. I mean, the room got quiet because it was immediately clear he was part of the rescue effort that day. And
Colonel Maness, did you then recognize that that was the man whose IV you held and the man you prayed with that day?
Yeah, it was amazing, and I thought about Brian every day for 15 years, in some way or another, and prayed that he was okay, and I wasn't sure whether he had lived or died. And the amazing part was that Governor Rick Perry, who's a former Air Force officer too, brought us together and had no idea that we had this thing in common, this brotherhood, this shared experience that very few people have, and I'm just very grateful that Governor Perry does those kinds of things in people's lives. And now that Brian and I have reconnected, I'm just very, very grateful that he and his family are well and healthy, and that he's serving our country.
To have made the trip from Louisiana to Texas so that you two could be sitting there together today. Gentlemen, we are proud of you, proud of the service that you have done for our country, and best of luck for you in your political careers. We need more leaders. Senator Birdwell from Texas, thank you, sir. And Colonel Rob Maness,
thank you.
Thank you as well.